3, and Julio Urias is right at 3. They also have 2 guys they can use in the bullpen as closer, and Blake Trinan and Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell's been used as the main closer so far this year. The Rockies have been a little bit of a surprise. They're playing better than expected, and they also lead the majors in batting average, although that's not saying a lot considering a lot of the numbers are down this year. Lots of people thought they'd suck, and there's still a lot of time, and they're also only in 4th place in the West, so that's not good either. C.J. Cron leads the National League in home runs with 10. Connor Joe has been a good utility guy for them. Ryan McMahon is picking up right where he left off, and Randall Grichuk in the outfield and Jose Iglesias at shortstop have been good pickups, particularly on the average side. Chris Bryant has been on the injured list, only played in 16 games. He got a .281 average and no home runs. They also need more from Charlie Blackmon. He's not playing like the same player he used to be. Pitching is what you would expect. Any good pitching at Coors is going to struggle to have an ERA better than in the high 3s, just because the way the runs are scored there. San Diego's, the addition of new manager Bob Melvin seems to have helped after they weren't able to make the playoffs under Jace Tingler. Competing early, they're in 2nd place. Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer off to outstanding starts, both hitting over .340. Jurickson Profar, a guy that you wouldn't expect to contribute much, has been one of their big power sources, but they have a lot of very low batting averages right now, and that could catch up to them eventually. Joe Musgrove and Sean Manaea have been very good. Yu Darvish has been about average, but about what you expect. And Mackenzie Gore has been impressive as a young, I believe he's still considered a rookie. They just need to find a couple more starters that won't balloon their ERA, and then they should be pretty good. San Francisco, 3rd place, decent average, .248. Estrada hitting .271. Mike Yastrzemski hitting .290. Averages are down across the board, like I said, like you'd expect. Jock Peterson, not a guy that's going to hit for average, but what does he do? He hits home runs, and that's exactly what he's doing for them. Logan Webb, Carlos Rodon, and Alex Wood are pinning down the rotation there. Alex Cobb has been really the weakness in that rotation, but Junis, the former Kansas City starter, seems to be the 5th guy in that rotation right now. Arizona, they weren't expected to be good. They're dead last in the majors in batting average. Varsho, the catcher outfielder Dalton Varsho, has a respectable .250 and 6 home runs. Christian Walker, the first baseman, has been hitting the ball hard and has 9 home runs and leads the team with a .252 average, but that's not great. Overall, the team ERA is at 3.9. Madison Bumgarner back to his usual ways after a tough season with a 2.29 ERA. Merritt Kelly, respectable 3.27 ERA, actually a really good 3.27 ERA. And Zach Gallen is also at a 105, which is ridiculous. Zach Davies at 4.35 is about what you would expect. That's an okay 4th starter. They really have no 5th starter on their team. The Royals have fired hitting coach Terry Bradshaw after that horrendous start. Kansas City only scored 118 runs through their first 32 games, which is the 4th worst in the majors. He's replaced by Alec Zumwalt, who is the team's director of player development and hitting performance. Christian Dawkins, the agent who bribed college basketball players and was convicted after a thorough FBI investigation, was denied a request for a new trial earlier this month. His defense tried to argue that the case had been compromised by former FBI agent Scott Carpenter, who pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of conversion of government money. Basically, the lawyers were alleging that Carpenter, well, I guess it's not alleged since he pled guilty to it, but they're saying that he used $13,000 in government money while gambling at a Las Vegas casino. U.S. District Judge Edgardo Ramos agreed with the initial ruling not allowing a new trial because the misconduct did not affect the defendants. It didn't happen around Dawkins, and it didn't happen while the agents were involved in investigation activities. Dawkins was one of 10 people arrested in the case in 2017 and convicted of wire fraud, bribery, and conspiracy to commit bribery. He cannot be released until June 2023. The Knight Commission has urged the NCAA to consider and act immediately on proposals to correct racial and gender inequities in revenue distribution. The current model reportedly, and as expected, but just from what we know from the sporting world and cases outside of the sporting world, reportedly awards men's sports for their success in postseason appearances, but not women. This is the second time the commission has made the suggestion since September. The plan would require athletic performance-based revenue to be distributed equally as rewards for performance in both men's and women's sports. Schools will also have to prove that the gap between their black and white student athletes' graduation rates is not more than 25 percentage points. There are more portal entries, commits, whatever. St. Bonaventure guard Kyle Lofton has picked Florida. St. Bonaventure center Osuna Suni has picked Iowa State. KJ Williams, the big man from, I believe it was Murray State, pulls out of the NBA draft and decides to transfer to LSU. Michigan State guard Max Christie had entered the NBA draft to test the waters without an agent. Now he has hired one and forfeited his college eligibility. Was a 5-star recruit who played well at the beginning of his freshman season, but his play wasn't as good as the season wore on, and didn't quite reach the high expectations we had set. His departure leaves a huge hole in the wing for the Spartans as a plush defender and a three-point shooter, particularly with Gabe Brown also heading to the NBA draft. I thought he could have used another year in school to get stronger and improve his numbers, but hey, this is a decision he's made. Memphis's Liberty Bowl is undergoing renovations. The football stadium project will cost at least $150 million and could reach $200 million and will be completed before the 2025 season. That's all for the Travis on Sports podcast this week. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to follow the show on podcasting platforms and our social media pages, and I will be back next week with another edition.